Good afternoon, and thank you for joining today's webinar, MIPS Made Simpler. GPM would like to point out with this disclaimer that we make all reasonable efforts to ensure that all information in this presentation is accurate and up to date, but we make no representation or warranty of accuracy, reliability, or completeness of this information. I am Michael Clayton, Project Manager here at gEHRiMed, and I'll be leading today's presentation. The focus of today's webinar will mainly be on the basics of MIPS, how to report in 2017 with best strategies, and how gEHRiMed's MIPS dashboard can help you achieving success in the 2017 reporting year. So what is MACRA? MACRA is the Medicare Access and Chip Reauthorization Act of 2015. With the passage of MACRA, it places each Medicare Part B provider into the following categories. Those providers will fall into the merit-based incentive payment system, which encompasses about 80% of all clinicians who bill for Medicare Part B in 2017. Other participants might fall in the Advanced Alternative Payment Models, also known as Advanced APMs. CMS expects this to be less than 5% of all clinicians in 2017. And lastly, we'll have providers that will fall within both tracks. CMS accounts those to be 15% of all clinicians. For the purpose of today's webinar, we will focus mainly on MIPS. MIPS is the consolidation of previous programs administered by CMS, specifically PQRS, Value-Based Modifier, and Meaningful Use. And MIPS replaces these three different programs into one cohesive program known as the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System. Reporting for 2017 will consist of a quality component, advancing care information, improvement activities, and resource use. Each of these components will be weighted accordingly. Quality will consist of 60% of a provider score. Advancing care information will consist of 25% of the provider score. A new category, improvement activities, will consist of 15%. And resource use will be assessed at 0% for 2017. Clinicians' Composite Performance Score, known as CPS, will be the basis for a positive, negative, or zero payment adjustment that will be assessed in 2019. For those clinicians who are unaware or unsure if they should report under the MIPS program, we ask that you please visit the Quality Payment Program listed on this website. By submitting your NPI in the appropriate field, CMS will cross-reference and check to see if you're eligible for reporting under MIPS. Also, CMS has sent letters to each eligible clinician letting them know whether or not they fall under participation guidelines under MIPS. So who is eligible to report under the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System? Once again, this is designed for those providers who bill Medicare Part B, and nearly 100% of long-term post-acute care practitioners are eligible for MIPS. Those who report under Advanced APMs will qualify for an exemption and do not have to report criteria under the Merit-Based Incentive Payment System. However, very few, almost 100% of long-term post-acute care practitioners do not fall within reporting under Advanced APMs. In the previous slide, we've discussed reporting criteria and the relative weights of each MIPS category. Just wanted to bring note to this slide that each consecutive year of reporting, those weights will change. We've designed this webinar to be a step-by-step tutorial in how to achieve successful reporting under MIPS. And the first step is use CERT, or Certified Electronic Health Record Technology, and submit data via a registry. Step 2, determine whether or not your practice should report as a group or if each eligible clinician should individually report in 2017. Step 3, pick your pace. Step 4, select a 90-day window that's most appropriate to collect data. Step 5, select the quality measures that have the greatest propensity for maximizing your quality score. Step 6, consider those benchmark measures which will have the ability to maximize the score in the quality MIPS component. Step 7, carefully select your improvement activities. Step 8, complete the 4 base ACI measures. And Step 9, track progress and score with our gEHRiMed dashboards. Step 10, worry-free data submission via the GPM registry. Step 1 and 2, the use of certified electronic health record technology and group versus individual reporting. gEHRiMed is certified for the 2014 edition by the Office of the National Coordinator for Health IT. And by using gEHRiMed EHR and submitting via the GPM registry, eligible clinicians might qualify for the end-to-end reporting bonus within the quality category. Step 2, determine whether or not your practice should report as a group or if each eligible clinician should report individually. In order to determine whether or not you should report as a group or individual, determine that goal of whether or not you intend to achieve a bonus in 2019 or if you're simply just hoping to avoid the penalty. Eligible clinicians practicing in a group of 2 or more have the option to report MIPS data collectively in 2017. We believe it's advisable for practices to report as a group as there is strength in numbers. Step 2 continued. All MIPS eligible clinicians identified by a 10 and NPI combination are responsible for completing MIPS to avoid a penalty. CMS then thusly scores that eligible clinician's performance for 2017 and will make the appropriate adjustments to the Medicare payments in 2019. Groups practicing under the same tax identification number may report individually if all practitioners in the 10 report as individuals. For group reporting, all practitioners under that particular tax identification number must report as a part of the group in all subsequent MIPS components. And there is no formal process for group registrations unless you intend to use the CMS web interface, previously known as the Group Practice Reporting option. Group data can be reported and submitted via registry, EHR, or through the CMS web interface. For practices who intend to report via the web interface, the deadline to report was June 30th of 2017, and this was specifically intended for groups who had 25 or more practitioners. So what if you're part of more than one tax identification number? If one of the members of the group also bills under a different 10, he or she is still responsible for meeting the MIPS requirement under each individual tax identification number. However, only the services billed under a particular tax identification number that is reporting as a group will be included in that group's MIPS score. CMS has designed 2017 as the transitional year in which providers may test the program and select one of 4 paces in which to collect and submit data. Providers may choose to stand still. Those eligible clinicians who stand still and submit no data in 2017 will be assessed a penalty. Providers might crawl. This gives them the ability to at least avoid a negative payment adjustment. Or clinicians might be able to walk or run. And in both of those options, may possibly receive a bonus. Once again, stand still, do nothing, you will receive 4% penalty. This is not advised. By crawling and submitting one quality measure for one patient, one time, or reporting one improvement activity, or reporting 4 base ACI measures can earn the provider the minimum 3 points to avoid a negative payment adjustment in 2019. While this might avoid a negative payment adjustment, it still isn't advisable, as your MIPS performance score is publicly posted on Physician Compare website. By submitting data for a 90-day period in 2017, eligible clinicians might have the ability to earn a neutral or positive payment adjustment in 2019. In order to walk, eligible clinicians can report at least one quality measure for a minimum of a 90-day period for 50% of their population. There is a minimum of 20 patients total and a minimum of 1 Medicare beneficiary for a measure to qualify for this bonus. This certainly is recommended in 2017. And lastly, eligible clinicians have the ability to they can report for a 90-day period up to a full year. Reporting will consist of 6 quality measures, including 1 outcome measure, as well as the required improvement activities and the required 4 base ACI measures. Steps 4 and 5, selecting quality measures. You can choose a 90-day minimum per category. The deadline then to pick a 90 days, of course, will be October 1st of 2017. First and foremost, each eligible clinician should select their quality measures. Here are just a few of the quality measures supported in gEHRiMed in 2017. For successful reporting in 2017, providers must choose an outcome measure. gEHRiMed supports 2 outcome measures in 2017. QM number 1, diabetes hemoglobin A1C poor control, and QM number 342, pain brought under control within 48 hours. In the absence of an outcome measure, providers will have the ability to select a high-weighted priority measure in its place. Below are a list of the high priority measures supported in gEHRiMed in 2017. In Step 6, consider benchmarks. Quality measures with no historic benchmarks in 2017 will only receive a maximum of 3 points. Quality measures with associated benchmarks have the highest capacity for maximization of scores. Below are just a few of the measures supported in gEHRiMed in 2017 that have associated and historical benchmarks. In the MACRA final rule, CMS finalized 94 activities for reporting in 2017. GPM has sorted that list and provided the most long-term care specific measures within our software. Improvement activities must be implemented for at least a 90-day period. We just want to point out that the selection of certain improvement activities can actually earn some bonus points within the Advancing Care Information Performance category if those measures are selected. The final rule did grant some flexibility in reporting improvement activities dependent upon a practice size, their geographical location, whether they're in a rural or underserved community, and for those practices that are non-patient facing. Improvement activities are either weighted high weighted, which are worth 20 points, or medium weighted, which are worth 10 points. And dependent upon that criteria, whether it's a small practice or large practice designated by CMS, located in an underserved or rural community, or the practice is non-patient facing, will determine whether or not the eligible clinician will have to report for 40 points for full participation or 20 points for full participation within the improvement activities category. Step 7, Advancing Care Information, also known as the Old Meaningful Use Program. Advancing Care Information is separated in 2 specific categories. There's first the base score, which consists of 5 measures. To receive full base score points, eligible clinicians must report either a yes for measures requiring a yes or no answer, or a numerator of at least 1 for those measures that require a numerator or denominator. The base score does consist and remain an all or nothing, meaning that all measures must be satisfied in order to successfully achieve base score points. The second category then is the performance score. And the performance score consists of measures that can account for up to 90 points within the ACI composite score. For 2014 ONC certified products, clinicians can choose from 7 measures that best fit their workflow to account for the existing points. There are some bonus points that are up for grabs in the ACI performance category. Eligible clinicians can earn up to 15 bonus points by reporting to additional registries or reporting the improvement activities that are most aligned with using certified electronic health record technology. gEHRiMed does plan to offer an end-to-end electronic reporting option, but this requires the use of optional registry services. So how to satisfy advancing care information requirements? If providers choose to crawl, they should just select the 4 base measures. For better performance, they may select the 4 base measures and performance measures. Once again, that will be the same for running. Select the 4 base measures and select the best performance measures to maximize your overall score. And just showing the breakdown of the points in the advancing care information category, the base score will consist of 50 points, or half of the total points within the ACI category. The remaining points can be achieved by selecting measures in the performance category and/or by the bonus points. For clinicians who are still reporting and attesting under the Medicaid Meaningful Use Program, unfortunately, under the MACRA legislation, the Medicaid Meaningful Use Program will continue to exist and will be completely separate than the Advancing Care Information category. The measures and the objectives and thresholds will differ from the Advancing Care Information category. And Medicaid Meaningful Use does continue to be an all or nothing program, meaning that there is no flexibility in choosing measures. For those attesting in the Medicaid program for meaningful use in 2017, it will be a 90-day reporting window. So now that we've gone through the requirements of how and what to report of each respective category, we wanted to show an example of what a final composite MIPS score consists of. So we have the quality component, and let's say that we've had, assuming 42 points out of the total 60 points, with a 60% weight, that would give the provider 42 points in that category. The same for ACI. If you received 50 points out of the total 100 points, at a 25% weight, you would have received 12.5 points. Likewise for improvement activities. If you received the total 40 of 40 points at 15% of the weight, you would receive 15 points. And then, of course, the cost component, if you received 14 out of the 20 points, but the weight is 0, it's still 0 points. That gives the eligible clinician an overall score of 69.5. Here's the sample point system breakdown for the adjustments associated with performance in the 2017 calendar year. A score of 3 is the break-even point, in which it's a neutral adjustment. Scores above 70, or in between 70 and 100, will grant the eligible clinician not only a positive MIPS payment adjustment, but also the possibility for an exceptional performance bonus as well. CMS does estimate 94.7% of MIPS eligible clinicians will have a positive or neutral MIPS payment adjustment, and only 5.3% will have a negative adjustment. So what are some strategies for achieving a higher score? We think first and foremost, report as a group if possible, and if you're under 25 eligible clinicians. Take the ACI hardship exemption unless you're having to complete those tasks for the Medicaid Meaningful Use Program. Pick 2 high-valued improvement activities to lessen reporting burden. Report 6 quality measures for any 90 days starting before October 1st of 2017. And once again, practices that are under 25 members can report as a group, and we think this is highly advisable. For groups of more than 25 eligible clinicians, the CMS web interface is an option. This does grant the group a lower reporting burden, but a much higher burden of data gathering throughout the full year on a very specific set list of measures. We wanted to also point out that 51 quality measures apply to place of services 31 and 32, and those are published with benchmarks at the associated link. We'd also want to point out that in order to maximize your MIPS composite score, take advantage of the bonus points that are offered in 2017. The scores for the quality measures are totaled along with those bonus points to determine the total quality component score. And those bonus points can be earned by submitting an extra outcome measure or high priority measure. And it's going to be 2 points for each additional outcome measure that's reported and 1 point for each additional high priority measure. In addition, if the eligible clinician submits data via end-to-end certified electronic technology, it's an additional 1 point per measure, awarded up to 10%. We understand that MIPS is confusing, and should you have questions, we've provided a MIPS question and answer document that's posted on our Zendesk. To select the quality measures that you would like to report, please visit the following page. And for more information about MIPS, please visit the Quality Payment Program website provided by CMS. For 2017, we have provided intuitive dashboards for clinicians and groups to monitor their progress. The main landing page on the dashboard will show the provider and the start and end date, which are customizable. And in that dashboard, you'll see your progress obtained in the improvement activities, advancing care information category, and quality measures. By selecting any of the bar graphs, you will be taken to an individual landing page of each of these performance categories. gEHRiMed has provided an improvement activities dashboard to which providers have the ability to choose activities that they intend to report in the 2017 calendar year. Note that by selecting which activities providers or groups intend to report, gEHRiMed also gives a point value in the top right-hand side of the screen. gEHRiMed also provides a dashboard to gauge your quality measure success. Note that in the progress columns, gEHRiMed is calculating the point value obtained on each measure. gEHRiMed also gives the quality measures category score. gEHRiMed also offers an advancing care information dashboard. Note that the base measures must be satisfied successfully in order to obtain any score in the performance category of ACI. gEHRiMed has intuitively grayed out the performance measure section in the ACI dashboard until all base measures are successfully satisfied. Also note that base measures that have been satisfied are denoted with a green check sign on the right-hand side in the earned column. Once all objectives in the base category of advancing care information have been satisfied, gEHRiMed automatically begins calculating the performance measures. Note that gEHRiMed also provides the eligible clinician the point value that they have thusly obtained in this category. For more information, please visit the websites that we provided in previous slides or contact our client services team or gEHRiMed support team. Sign up for the measures in which you intend to report for 2017. Make sure that we have all updated email addresses in gEHRiMed so that you can receive updated notifications. Walk through our intuitive MIPS dashboard, and lastly, at the end of the year, let gEHRiMed send the data to CMS via our GPM registry. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day.